So I'm looking at my watch and I'm looking at what time it is. And you know what? It's that time. It's that time. It's that time once again for Story Time with the Anthony KT, Blackout Edition, Episode 2, Part 6. We are back for Part 6 of Story Time with the Anthony KT, Blackout Edition, Episode 2, as we continue on with this story of the young man. Now, previously, back on back on Part 5, Episode 2 of Story Time with the Anthony KT, Blackout Edition, the young man had just lost someone he had cared very much about, someone that he loved. The young woman, now an old woman. The young man, now an old man. The old woman had passed away. Prior, they had had a talk about the old man when he dies, that the now old woman would be by his side to let him know, to make sure that he lived a good life and that he was loved. And the old woman said that you have lived a good life and you are loved, but she would sit by his side when that day comes. And then the old man gets a call from the old woman's daughter to say that the old woman had passed away. And the old man falls to his knees, drops the phone, is heartbroken, and in that moment also realizes that he never got to tell the old woman how much he loved her, how much she was like home to him. He never got to tell her any of that stuff. All that stuff he wanted to tell her but was scared to tell her, he kept inside and he never told her. So now we pick up where we left off. We only have one life. We only have one life we get to live, and if we don't take the opportunity to tell the ones that are close to us how we truly feel, when it becomes too late, we will regret it when the opportunity passes and we lose the ones closest to us. The old man was feeling that regret. His stillness ended and he fell to his knees on the wooden floor, with his tears becoming more like Niagara Falls. This was the hardest loss for him. It's never easy to lose someone you love, even more so when the person you love is your heart and your home. And one day, the old man felt as if he lost everything, a feeling he hadn't felt in over 40 years. The old woman, to the old man, was everything he lost, that forever, as his tears kept falling from his face. At the funeral, the old man was greeted by both of the old woman's daughters. They sat next to him, gave him a hug, and handed the old man a letter from the old woman. Both the old woman's daughters got up from their seat, and before leaving, they said to the old man, "From the time we were kids, there was always a moment when our mother would bring you up at least once a day. You were her best friend, and she loved you very much. She never admitted it, but I think you meant more to her than she would ever admit. And I know you loved her just as much." With tears falling from the old man's eyes, he says, "I did love your mother, and I will miss her for the rest of my life." That was all the old man could say to the old woman's daughters. His heart was still broken, and he knew he had to be strong for the old woman one more time and say goodbye, but he couldn't. It was just too hard for the old man to say goodbye to someone he loved with all his heart. After the funeral, the old man went to the same park he and the old woman would go to almost every day, and he sat on the same bench they both sat on almost every day. He unfolded the letter and began to read it. And that, my friends, is where we end things for Storytime with the Anthony KT Blackout Edition, Episode 2, Part 6. Part 7 will be the final episode. The final part to the young man, and that will be coming in the very near future. But for now, thank you again for listening to Storytime with the Anthony KT Blackout Edition, Episode 2, Part 6. If you would like to read the entire story of the young man, the link is in the bio. And, I really felt like I was going to say something else. Oh, yes. So if you are listening to this on YouTube, link is in the bio. If you're listening to this on Facebook, Instagram, the link is in the bio. And for those on TikTok, go ahead and click on the Instagram icon. That'll take you to my Instagram page. And from there, you guessed it, link is in the bio. But that's all I got for y'all. So until episode 7, in the meantime and in between time, peace, y'all.